There are very few things that humans resist greater than they resist change. It's the ultimate wall of fear and vulnerability that we have to cross every time something new occurs. Transition from stable to new is a natural part of evolution, of progress, of things advancing, of things expanding. There's always a different state to become accustomed to. There's always a new expansion. There's always a new condition. There's always something new. We as humans are programmed that change creates danger. That's why when we smell things, we smell as soon as we're used to a smell, we ignore it, so we look for a new smell because that new smell is what's going to bring us information of danger. When we analyze situations with our eyes, our brain processes things on a basis of what's the most dangerous, what's not normal, what's out of place. We are so accustomed and attuned to our environments in creating small arenas of habit, of safety, of circumstance that do not change, so that when they do change, it throws our entire sense off when things are different. There are times where we go out and we work to bring new things into our lives. However, whenever we do that, we're not always prepared for the fact that by bringing things into your life, there are going to be things that leave your life. There's going to be a transition that takes that thing, another circumstance that is related to it but is no longer serving you, will be removed from your life. And this leads to grieving. And grieving is one of the things that humans really hate to do. Whenever you remove the old from your life, you make room for the new. But we are so attached to our comfort and to what we are used to, that stasis that we create around ourselves that prevents change, that locks things into place, that makes it so nothing new can enter until we're ready for it, that when something that is a part of that leaves, we are still attached to it. We are still tied to it emotionally. We are still tied to it physically sometimes. We are still tied to it mentally because it's a part of what we have built into what we see as our environment, our world, and our how we see things. My brain won't come up with the right words right now, but it's early, so that's okay. What this leads to is resistance against change. And resistance against change doesn't help you change. What it does is it keeps old things in your life that you don't want. It makes you hold on to situations, times, places, emotions that no longer serve you. And this leads to an initial state, just like every other time of grieving, of denial, where you refuse to accept that you need to let go of this thing, that this thing is no longer serving you. This thing is no longer a part of your life. This thing is no longer available to you. There's a denial that's not what's going on. And generally, this is a very subconscious thing. We don't realize while it's going on that we're losing the thing, but we tend to think, no, that's not happening because our world is stasis. Our world is going to stay the same. That's not how that works. Things die, things wear out, things live out their lifespan, and then you move on. And once you start to realize that thing has moved on, it's moved from out of the subconscious into the conscious, you start to get angry. You start to get resentful. You start to be upset that you're having to let go of this thing that you've held on to, that you thought was a part of your world, that you made plans for it to go forward in, but it's just not going to suit what you want. It's not going to fit. It's going to be counterproductive. It's going to be ultimately harmful in that it will prevent you from progressing. It will prevent you from doing what it is that you're trying to make room in your life to do, that you're trying to bring things in, and it will hold place and it will hold space for its own entity. And you'll have to fight to get that out. And then there's the bargaining. A lot of times this takes the place in, What can I do to make this not change? Well, you need it to change. Stop trying to get it to stop changing. It's best to just move on. It's best to just accept it. There's also the bargaining of, what could I have done to make this change? Nothing. Anything you could have done, it's worthless now. And I don't mean that in a disregarding. I mean it as it's like throwing water on a fire after it's 2 days later after it's out. You're not doing anything. It's not going to help in any way. It's already done. It's time to move on and accept that there is nothing that can resolve your need to take things back to a state that can never be achieved again, because the past is gone. Those moments, those times, those emotions are tied to then and not a part of your now. This is depressing. It's really hard to accept the things that you're letting go. It's hard to accept that there are things in your life that you thought were very, very important and very, very crucial to you moving forward, to the life you're trying to build, and it's not going to be there. It wasn't exactly what you thought it was the whole time. It's bowing out, and in retrospect, you're able to see things that you feel that you should have missed, and you get angry at yourself. You get angry at the situation, and that anger, being that you cannot resolve it because it is aimed at the past, becomes depression. Letting that go, accepting that there's nothing you can do now except for treat yourself well and love yourself. Accept the new, make room for the new, and anticipate the amazing new changes that are going to come into your life. And this is the acceptance. This is the looking forward. This is the seeing that life does continue on without that other thing in your life, and it can be even better. Because that thing, in retrospect, was not what you thought it was with those rose-colored glasses. We tend to put on rose-colored glasses when we're looking at a situation and we don't want to believe things that don't match with the paradigm, I found the word, that we believe we're living in. When we don't have a matching paradigm, we create that in our head. It doesn't serve us well. It's not to our advantage. What we need to do, and I am just as guilty as everyone, we need to look at things a little more realistically, and we don't. It's hard to. I'll be just plain honest, simple about it. It's hard to look at things when you want things to be one way, when you think that they are that way, when it appears they are that way, when they are told to you that they are that way, but they are not that way. That is not the truth of the surface. And it's the acceptance that that past does not entirely match with what our emotional attachment has granted it. And by releasing that emotional attachment, by grieving that situation, grieving that change, move on to a much better life. Grieving allows you to make space for progress, for new, to bring in fresh, for things to begin new again and young and fresh, and all of those wonderful things about change that brings in positivity, brings in expansion, brings in things that are supportive, brings in things that are loving. And by releasing the old that no longer fits, no longer matches, no longer provides healing, sustenance, anything good to us, and making room for a future that does, we're able to move forward. We're able to remain healthy. We're able to accept the world as it is, instead of trying to crowd it into an existence that does not exist, into a mind frame that is clinging on to things that aren't real. And they may have been real at one point, but time changes everything. And unless you change with it, those things don't actually change. And that causes a problem, because we were born to change. We refresh ourselves every 7 years, I believe. I don't know. I believe that's the figure, but I'll go with it. And in that, we show that we are a constantly renewing being, that we are not made to stay the same. And we shouldn't fight change. We should embrace it. But to embrace it, we have to acknowledge the effect and the power of the past on us, and then let it go. Because the past is the past. And no matter what, it will never come back. Thank you for listening. I'm Morgan Harmon. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all the clicky things. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening. It's been wonderful talking to you about this. May the Lord and the Lady be ever in your heart. Praise be to Pan, and peace. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.